My very special guest today is declaring November Family Court Awareness Month, fueled by the desire for awareness and change in the family court system all over. You won't want to miss my sit down with Tina Swithin. My special guest, champion of children's rights, author of Divorcing a Narcissist, and founder of One Mom's Battle. That even gets my heart. And now spearheading a month-long cross-country movement to raise awareness of family court failures and declaring the month of November as Family Court Awareness Month. That's such a powerful thing. I am thrilled to welcome to my show, Tina Swithin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just reading your life story as much as I have and hearing what you're about to do, you've just started a movement to make November Family Court Awareness Month, beginning with this month-long cross-country movement fueled by the desire for awareness and change in the court system, so badly needed, so desperately needed. Tell us about that, how this started.
Okay. I have been a family court advocate for about 10 years as a result of my own custody situation and battle in California. And, it's constantly a frustration to me because I have my finger on the pulse of the system and watching the numbers of children go up constantly who are being failed in the most tragic way. One of the things that I pay attention to, the Center for Judicial Excellence actually keeps track of how many children who have been murdered as a result of separating or divorcing parents. So essentially failed by the family court system. And we're almost up to 800. And it's just, and a lot of these moms, quite a few of them, have become friends of mine. And no one should be able to say that they personally know someone whose child has been murdered as a result of family court failure. And so, in the past month, I've just keep scratching my head going, why is no one paying attention to this? Why do I feel like the only one over here with a bullhorn and no one's listening? And so it was a middle of the night insomnia moment where I thought, you know what, I'm going to declare November Family Court Awareness Month. And I got up the next morning, I bought a domain name. We have pulled together a group of volunteers and we've, no joke, been working day and night for 2.5 weeks to pull this off. And we've, got a lot of media attention on it. KTLA is going to come to our press conference tomorrow by the time this airs, it'll be in the past, but
it'll be on its way.
Yeah, to get major media attention on this situation is almost unheard of. And, I've been looking at it from different angles, going, how do we get this to gain traction? And to, a quote I came across and kind of have been using is, when the family court system fails to protect our most vulnerable members of society, it fails every single one of us. And that is so true. And so many people are suffering in silence. This is a topic that people don't want to talk about, or they're silenced by the system. And so, I've come to a place in my journey where my children are now safe, and I will never take that for granted. Absolutely. And, I have vowed to be a voice for those who are silenced by this system, whose children are suffering, because I've been there and I completely get it.
What makes me so angry about this is, why is it taking so long? Why don't people like to talk about it? Why is it so shush? Why is it so messed up? Why are you this one, you're the founder of One Mom's Battle, basically, because we all, who's ever been touched by divorce, any kind of divorce, with children involved, you feel very alone.
Right.
And the lawyers are all in their own, I hate to say this, but they're all in their own little, world and their own little, whether it's about making deals or making money, or I've just heard and seen too many crazy things. Why is it taking so long? And why aren't we waking up to this?
My personal opinion is that the water has become so muddy. We've got the people who are aligned with the fathers' rights organizations and then the mothers' rights organizations, and it's turned into a battle of genders. And one of the platforms that I have that is very unique is that I was actually raised by my dad, who was a 19-year-old single father, healthier of my two parents. And so I come at this from a different angle, and that is children's rights. I don't think anyone should have rights just because of their gender. And, those two groups, I know and love a lot of people on both sides of that fence, but it is creating such a division, and it's taking the focus off where it should be, which is on our kids. And our judges, they're not erring on the side of caution. When abuse allegations are raised in family court, they're so focused on parental rights instead of protecting our kids. We're failing, and part of my mission right now and over the next month is, when I started this movement in October, there were 758 children who had been murdered. That number has gone up, I believe, 4 or 5 just in the past few weeks. And it's my goal to put the family court system, the judges, other professionals on notice that everyone is watching now. It's not just me and a handful of advocates who are working I can't talk today.
That's okay.
Who are working, around the clock to get the word out. Now we are spreading awareness. We have elected officials coming to our press conference. We have media coming to meet me along the journey from California to South Carolina. And that is huge. And it may be the first time that we are really hitting the radar of the general public. And for me, that is huge. So many people, they end their custody battles and they don't ever want to talk about it again. And I get that, you just want to close that chapter. And when my battle came to an end, after 10 years in the family court system, my kids now are 13 and 15, and we've been through a heck of a lot. I can't close that chapter because I can't unsee and unhear the things that I've witnessed over the past decade. It's just something has to change. And until that does, I'm going to, keep speaking out, keep raising awareness on this topic.
Oh my God. I just stand in awe of you. If you just know, I'm talking to Tina Swithin. She is the founder of One Mom's Battle. She has started a movement to make November Family Court Awareness Month, beginning with a month-long cross-country movement. Where are you going across the country? Tell us about that.
We're starting in Los Angeles, and that will be on November 1st. From there, we're going to Little Rock, Arkansas, Atlanta, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. And then on the way back, we are stopping in Nashville, Tennessee, Amarillo, Texas, and Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow. And who's traveling with you?
So I'm actually remarried. My husband, Glenn, has been my rock through my entire custody battle and, has been the dad that my children have always deserved. We terminated my ex-husband's parental rights last year, which is really difficult to do. And so Glenn was able to adopt the girls. I very much have a happy ending to my saga. And he has become a fierce advocate for those of us, labeled protective parents or whatever you want to call us, who are fighting to protect our kids. So Glenn will be behind the wheel of the RV.
Oh my.
And both of my daughters are on distance learning right now. So the
So it works out.
timing is absolutely.
Oh my God.
And 2 standard poodles in tow. So we are the full crew making our way across the country and back.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Before I ask you other questions about the courts and parents and alienation and narcissists and all that stuff, so take us back. 2008, you were trying to understand your marriage wasn't good.
Right.
And then 3 words from your therapist.
Right.
Changed your life. Tell us that story so everyone can get to know you a little bit, Tina.
Sure. So true to narcissistic fashion, the narcissist can make you doubt yourself. Everything was my fault. And I'm a fixer by nature. I just, if I show up, if I do better, if I smile more, if I'm happier, friendlier, skinnier, whatever it is, it will fix my marriage. And I asked him to go to marital counseling after a 10-year relationship and 7 years of marriage. And he wouldn't go. So I went, and hour and a half on this therapist's couch, she got up and walked across the room, brought back the DSM and diagnostic manual, and pointed out 3 words and said, I want you to read this. And I read narcissistic personality disorder. I had never heard of that before. And I actually got so excited because in my fixer brain, I thought, oh my gosh, if we have a label for him, she was really clear. I can't diagnose him. I've never met him. But what you are talking about really rings true for this, diagnosis. And so, but I got so excited. I thought, great, we can fix him now. We know what's wrong. And she, she kind of looked at me with a lot of and
not that we're laughing about this.
Right. Well, yeah, it's been a lot of years. And she said, you can't fix this. You either learn to accept that this is your life, or you lace up your shoes and get the hell out of Dodge. And the thought of my daughters, they were 2 and 4 at the time, the thought of them growing up feeling the way I felt, the way he had caused me to feel. I was a shell of my former self and had lost my spark. And it killed me to think that my daughters would grow up feeling that way. And so that was kind of the beginning of the end. And about 6 months after that is when our family court battle actually started.
And you represented yourself the entire time?
I did. I went
kind of unheard of, right?
Yeah, and people always ask me, why would you have done that? And it wasn't because I had a choice. I went from living in a gated community, driving very nice cars and having a very nice life, to I left with $178 to my name. I ended up in a women's shelter with my daughters, and due to extreme financial abuse, I was having to drive to food pantries to feed my kids. So hiring an attorney was not on the list of options.
Yes.
So I figured it out. I remember being in the women's shelter one night, and there was no Wi-Fi, and literally having the window open and my laptop perched up in the window crooked, trying to tap into neighbors' Wi-Fi so I could finish my court documents. I mean, when I look back at those days,
I'm tearing up listening to you.
It was some of the darkest days of my entire life. And, one good thing I have, I'm stubborn, and I will find ways if I'm met with challenges. And I've grown up that way. I didn't have I had a pretty rocky upbringing, and I feel like that taught me to persevere, which really came in handy in the family court system.